Hey everyone, I'm Nicole,
And I'm Gabrielle.
and we are the hosts of the Spiritual Sisters podcast.
Join us every week as we discuss all the spiritual topics like astrology, mediumship, psychic insights, and so much more.
We are often joined by others we have met along our spiritual journey who are well versed in many of these areas.
Get ready for enlightening discussions and interviews and personal experiences that we hope will expand your mind and get you thinking outside of the box.
Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just beginning your spiritual journey, there's something here for everyone.
Check us out every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts. See you then.
Bye!
Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Soul Ecosystem Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Rising, and on this podcast, we discuss all things soul contracts. I'm a professional soul contract reader, and I work with a modality that combines Jewish mysticism, astrology, tarot, and numerology to calculate what you incarnated here to do. And on this episode, we're going to be looking into the cast of Euphoria. Not all of them, but we're going to fit in as many as we can, specifically looking into Zendaya, whose soul contract I have seen before and I absolutely loved. I was dying to see her soul contract because she has this magic to her, like this magnetism that you can't explain, and I wanted to see how it was manifesting for her. Jacob Elordi, Sydney Sweeney, and Alexa Demie. Now, I wasn't quite sure if the date of birth I got for her is correct because it's not on her wiki page, but if that is her date of birth, we're going to see how her soul contract is manifesting into reality. So without further ado, we're going to start with Zendaya's soul contract. Zendaya was born September 1st, 1996. So she has 9 and 1 as her primary numbers. 9 is the number of the sage. These are people that are very spiritually evolved, which I think is very telling of why she feels so much more mature for her age. I feel like she's a very evolved soul. And that 1 that is in her primary number is the number of the magician. So right off the bat, that explains her magic. The number 1 is indicative of a person that is able to manifest their thoughts into reality very quickly. Now, that just reminded me of Tom Hiddleston because people have been posting about how crazy it is that every role that he says he wants to get, he somehow manifests into reality. So I feel like we need to also look at his maybe another time. But Zendaya has that 1 energy that is indicative of a person that can manifest things super quickly. The downside of the 1 is that they can manifest negativity as quickly as they manifest positivity. So they can manifest like bad things happening, like getting a ticket, losing your car keys, or something like that, as fast as they can manifest positive, successful, like opportunities and happy things. Let's take a look at her karmic debt, because I feel like that is always very telling of how evolved they are, how many lifetimes they have been here for. Usually younger souls are going to have more heavier karma because of certain choices in a past life that a more evolved soul would know better than to do. It's not that evolved souls haven't also done it. It's just that they're like, oh, I remember when I did this 100 lifetimes ago, and I remembered like to never do that again because that was really screwed up. But I digress. So Zendaya has the pride karmic debt, which in a previous life actually manifests pretty positively. With this karmic debt, you were likely somebody that was extremely talented and well known for their talent. I'm talking singer, actress, opera star, seamstress that was super popular. I don't know why I went like Bridgerton on that one. I remembered the seamstress in Bridgerton. But you had a gift that people would praise you for. People would come from all over to see you either perform or act or do what it is that you were doing. So she kind of carries that memory into this lifetime where she still remembers that she's done this before. She's been in a position of like having an audience before, being praised for her talents before. And this may manifest as being a little bit full of yourself, but I don't know if that's manifesting for Zendaya. I don't know her personally. Like, I don't know what she's like off camera. Maybe she's just really good at PR, like has really good PR training. But I feel like she's like the salt of the earth type. I feel like she's super grounded. I feel like she knows that she's also majorly talented and just knows how to use that to her advantage. But the warning that comes along with this karma is to kind of not start feeling too full of yourself, not start letting pride get in the way of both opportunities and success to the point where like you feel like roles are beneath you or certain promotions are beneath you, things like that. Now, okay, this has been happening to me a lot lately. I feel like I got an upgrade with my gifts. I feel like I can feel programs out before I even see them on a soul contract. I really wanted to get to a point where I could just hear somebody's date of birth and calculate their soul contract in my mind, but that's a lot of addition and numbers to remember in the right placements. So I don't think I'm ever going to get there, but I've been picking up on possible programs based on people because I just know what to expect at this point. Because at this point, I've seen so many different kind of programs and how they manifest that I feel like that I can predict when they're happening. And you guys heard me say that she has this magical quality to her, right? She has this magical like charisma, magnetism that is coming in from her subconscious program of magical knowledge. So that program carries the numbers 1855, and that program is indicative of a past life where she had magical abilities, or she also had air of mystery about her. This something, it's not even mystery. She's like the type of person that you could swear like she's never had a bad hair day. It seems like she's always so put together and so stylish. You see all of these photos of celebrities and their fashion faux pas when they were early, like starting out super early. And I feel like she's too cool for that. She's just a cool chick. And I called it. I told you she had some magic in her. In her soul contract, there's that magical knowledge. So I feel like this isn't her first time around using glamour magic or using like things that you might not expect as magic, but makeup is glamour magic. Using that to her advantage to get farther in life, to get so certain opportunities open to her. She has that available to her. What I don't love for her is the sensitivity program that she has, which is also called the torture/bullying program. I think I've seen this in Kylie Jenner's soul contract, and I kind of spoke about it on my Kardashian episode. But essentially, what that means is that this soul is extremely sensitive, and usually they try to play it off like they're not, which I totally see happening for Zendaya. But it might get into a place where they start bullying other people because of how sensitive they are to like other people's bullying, to other people criticizing them or going off on them or like on the internet. So I'm a little iffy about that happening for her. Again, I feel like just to be in the media, to be as widely known as she is, you have to develop thick skin. And it seems like that's how she's doing that. She's developing thick skin by maybe resorting to humor, maybe making inappropriate jokes, or even going to a point where you feel like somebody might butt heads with you, somebody might bully you, so you decide to kind of get on top of that and bully them first, which again, didn't expect for Zendaya, but it's stemming from a person that is very sensitive to other people's opinions, other people's words, so they kind of try to stay on top of it by outwardly maintaining an appearance of like, I don't really care about anything. I am almost like untouchable. Nothing phases me. Nothing can get to me, when they are very, very, very big softies on the inside. If it's manifesting positively, this is a very empathetic program to have, because it means that you can feel other people's pain almost as your own, as deeply as you would yourself. If it's manifesting in alignment, this is a good sign. It's a good program to have because it means that you have a lot of empathy. You're able to feel for people, feel their pain, and understand them because you're so sensitive. But again, in misalignment, that could kind of be like a preemptive almost strike at someone, be like, I want to make sure that you know not to mess with me in an attempt to protect themselves. I want to make sure that you don't mess with me, so I'm going to make you feel like crap before you make me feel like crap. So it's a defense mechanism. It's a bad defense mechanism if it's in misalignment. But if it's in alignment, this is somebody that's really able to empathize for others. Then we see the parallel love program, which carries a very interesting energy. So for the parallel love program, when it's manifesting in alignment, this is somebody that has a lot of energy, a lot of backup energy. Like this person is like an energizer bunny and they could keep going all day, especially if they're doing something they love or something that they're excited about. This person is able to create new trends, new fashion trends, because they're so cool, because they're so interesting as a person. Can totally see that for Zendaya. She has a wide variety of interests. But when it comes to that program in misalignment, it essentially means that there is likely something that she can't really decide on. Sometimes that manifests as an actual love triangle. I've seen this in a lot of clients, and it actually manifesting in a love triangle way. Either the person you're dating like is secretly married and they never told you, and you're like, oh my God, you're now caught in this dynamic, which could be very difficult. Or this is something like the person has to choose between a relationship or going after this job opportunity that is halfway across the world, and you're not at a point where you can be like, hey, will you travel halfway across the world for me in order to help me chase my dreams? So it's that kind of dynamic that's manifesting here. So at some point, we can assume that Zendaya came into contact with either a love triangle, accident or not, or a situation where she felt like she needed to choose between two things that she really, really loved, and she didn't know which of them to choose. Okay, I just took a look at her talents and her spiritual gifts, and I feel like we just got an understanding of where that energy is coming from. I couldn't quite like put a word on it, but now that I see all of her talents, I'm like, oh my God, she's a leader. She is used to being in charge, speaking her mind, being in a position where she gets to call the shots. Because all up in her talents and spiritual gifts, she has, let me count how many sevens she has. 7 is the number of leadership. So she has that directly manifesting in her soul. She also has that coming in from her paternal lineage, from her dad's side. He also has that 7. Along with that leadership energy where she was really born to take a stand and take over things, be in a position where she gets to call the shots. There's also the energy of the number 10. That also pops up twice. So that's like double validation that she came into this incarnation specifically to experience fortune, which is the number 10. Fortune manifests as experiencing financial abundance. So in this lifetime, before she incarnated, she specifically wanted to put it into her soul contract that she was going to come into money. And I love that for her. I feel like one other talent sticks out for me, and it's the talent of the world, the 21 talent. That just means that you're going to be traveling around the world doing what you love. Sometimes this means a literal career that means that you need to be traveling. Sometimes it's just because of the money that you make, you're going to be able to travel the world. But she also wanted to experience travel. She also wanted to see all the sights, see all the things, experience different cultures, different languages. That 21 energy is a very limitless kind of energy. And it also brings about a talent of being something of a diplomat. They like to try to always make sure everybody's having a good time, everybody's like keeping the peace, like nobody's like initiating conflicts or anything. But that is what I have for Zendaya. It feels like very minimal, right? The numerology that's happening here, but you can tell that the power that's packed behind those numbers, that is coming from her essence, from her soul's essence, from her chi, from those past lives of being extremely successful and well known, is really hyper activating everything that is in her chart. But that's what I have for you guys for Zendaya. Let's take a look at Sydney Sweeney. I specifically said that I was going to be looking into her because I wanted to see why she's so problematic. So I'm going to be coming into this soul contract a little more, I don't want to say biased, but it's biased. It's biased because I really don't like how she handled the whole ad controversy that she recently had with Levi's and the jeans and everything. So let me see if I can find something about that in her soul contract. But Sydney Sweeney was born September 12th, 1997. So the primary numbers she has are 9 and 12. So again, 9 is that sage energy, which I'm surprised about because I feel like if you are an old soul type, I feel like you wouldn't be doing the things that you're doing. But that 12 number is coming in for her as a number of creativity. This person's very artistic. This person loves to be creative and create new things, do new things, express themselves via art, or in this case, acting. I feel like this is the perfect number for her to have because you need a lot of that kind of energy if you're going to be successful in an artistic field. Found it. That didn't take long. That didn't take long at all. I found why she's so problematic, guys. It's the past life karmic debt. I told you guys just with Zendaya's that I take the past life karmic debt almost the most seriously because I feel like it's a good indicator of how aligned or misaligned we are talking about when we look into a person. Like, I understand that I can safely assume that a lot of the rest of her chart is going to be operating in misalignment from this one karmic debt because it is a doozy. It is a doozy, guys. This is a very malicious past life karmic debt, and there's not a lot of malicious karmic debts. You would think that there's a lot of people that did horrible things where they tortured people, killed people just for funsies. But that's not what I found. I don't know why I'm getting so happy about this, but it explains so much. It explains so much. It explains why she rubs people the wrong way, and I feel like she's going to get all the way canceled pretty soon. I feel like she's going to get all the way canceled because this is a pretty heavy karmic debt, and it comes with a very specific lesson. So, let me just tell you guys what I'm seeing. Let me just tell you guys what I'm seeing. It's the past life of the aggressor. And I don't mean just like this person was aggressive. This person tortured people, brought them physical suffering and pain, and got off on it. So pair that with the kind of vibe that she has going on where she's rubbing people the wrong way. People are very intuitive, guys. If you just feel like something is off about a certain person, you can't quite pinpoint what it is, chances are you're picking up on a very underlying invisible theme that is happening here. Like with Sydney Sweeney. I love this. I'm so happy. I'm not happy for her. I'm happy that we have a juicy soul contract up in here. So, yes. So she had that kind of propensity to purposely hurt other people in a past life. In this incarnation, how does this manifest? This manifests as the person being born into a weaker body. That usually tells me that in a previous life, you likely had the body of a male, of a very dominant, aggressive type of male. And now you are either going into the body of a male that has a lot of like diseases or sickness or is limited in his mobility in some way, or of just someone generally weaker, or of someone that's weaker, a female. Not to say all females are weak, because I'm pretty sure. I love that strong women are coming back. I love that strong women and muscle mommies is being a thing now, because it's time. It's time for women to not be seen as the weaker gender, because we're really not. But again, I digress. So in this incarnation, manifesting into a weaker body, specifically to limit the amount of people that she can hurt, guys. Specifically to limit the amount of people that she can hurt. It's almost, I want to look up Marky Mark's soul contract now, because I remember when he was 16, like he was getting into a lot of trouble. Like he seemed really racist and aggressive, Mark Wahlberg. I want to see if he also has this past life karmic debt. I don't know why I thought of him, but it kind of feels like it's tied together. So, yes, in this incarnation, manifesting into a weaker body, she also still has the same amount of inner strength, spirit, and ambition that she had in a previous incarnation, which explains Sydney Sweeney. It explains why she's really utilizing her assets to move further along in Hollywood, why she's super ambitious, because she still remembers that lifetime where she had it all. She had all the power, she called all the shots, and she was torturing people. With this karmic debt, this manifests as the person in this lifetime being bullied at an early age because, again, rubs people the wrong way from this past life karmic debt. And it actually suggests that, like, if your kid has this karmic debt, like, enroll them in martial arts or like karate so they'll be able to defend themselves, because that's the level of bullying we're talking about, which now I'm really curious to learn about Sydney Sweeney's childhood and what that was like, to see if that matches up with what she experienced. Because again, karma will come back to bite you. It'll come back to bite you. So she likely experienced the level of animosity that she had dealt to other people in her past life. So karma will always like pay back. Like the same level of aggression that you exhibited towards others will be exhibited right back to you, because the pendulum has to swing the other way. Once it swings in one direction, it has to go back. Guys, I just took a look at her. I just took a look at her programs. Okay, some of these programs are like Erika Kirk level programs. The first time I've seen that program was in Erika Kirk, and I don't know how many of you guys, because I talk about it sometimes on my threads. I remember doing a post about how similar Erika Kirk's and Donald Trump's soul contracts are. And I guess now we have to add Sydney Sweeney to that list, because I already see 2 that Erika has. And I don't love that for her, but let's talk about it. Let's tell you what I see. We see the Inquisition program, and when it's in alignment, this is somebody that's super persistent. They have beliefs, they have morals, they have values, and they stick to them. They're not easily influenced by others. They have an unusual, extensive amount of interests in various different things. They're open to trying new things. They easily accept changes that could manifest in their life. And they are always true to themselves, in the sense that even if somebody is like crapping on their choice of career or their choice of ads, they're going to be like, no, like, I'm going to continue doing what I love, no matter what other people say, no matter how other people judge me, which is, yeah, that program just explained the ad situation to us. Why she, instead of being like regretful or saying, I'm sorry if I offended anybody, she doubled down on it. That explains that. Because it seems like once she decides to do something, she's like, no, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to stand by what I did. So that's interesting. Then we have the hostage program. And the theme of the hostage program just revolves around a person that was meant to have a prosperous life that becomes accustomed to it, which, again, guys, Erika Kirk also has this program. Becomes accustomed to it and almost starts like not appreciating it anymore, and may even start to complain, like, why don't I have the newest Range Rover? Why don't I have this and this and this yet? They might start to complain, express dissatisfaction, nothing is enough. So at that point, what this program does is activates this kind of situation that is going to sabotage what they have, to the point that they could lose everything. What does that sound like? Both Sydney and Erika Kirk have this. Their soul contract is saying that they're going to be accustomed to living a prosperous life until something happens that almost takes everything away, almost completely destroys everything, so that they learn how to appreciate what they have. What happens next is they start feeling very out of control of their situation. They find themselves having to ask people for help. Who does that sound like? asking people for donations. Who does that sound like? I feel like this is turning into an Erika Kirk soul contract. Yeah, being extremely dependent on the help of others because they almost lost everything that they had. So I'd be interested to know if that's already happened to Sydney Sweeney. If yes, how? Or at what point is it going to happen to her? Because that feels like a very set in stone, like you're eventually going to have this very distinctive, very difficult lesson if you don't stop and start appreciating what it is that you have. A very distinctive lesson to lose everything, use it or lose it, right? Lose everything in an effort to give you some perspective. Okay, there's a whole bunch of other programs manifesting in Sydney's soul contract that I want to touch on really fast because I do want to get into Jacob Elordi's and Alexa Demie's soul contracts. So she has the Fairy World Writer-Director program. It means that she would be an excellent writer, excellent director, if that was something that she chose to do, if she chose to write a book. I don't know if she has, or if she chose to take on directing. It just means that she has a lot of creative talent, a lot of imagination, and she could use it in that way. She also has the Love Triangle program that we just talked about in Zendaya's soul contract, which again, it could manifest as an intentional love triangle, an accidental love triangle where you don't know one of the parties is in a committed relationship, or it could manifest as you having to choose between two things you love very much, either a successful career or a partner. Then we have the Restless Souls program. I specifically remember the first soul contract I saw with this program because I'm like, that is so spot on. It was Ronda Rousey. Restless Souls means that you have an abundance of energy, like almost limitless potential. You could achieve anything that it is that you set out to do. Ronda Rousey was a freaking Olympic gold medalist, right? Okay, sorry, bronze medalist, Olympic bronze medalist. She was on fire, undefeatable for such a long time until she was. When she got that first defeat, when she was defeated, she fell into this depression where we didn't see her for a long time. She kind of just fell off the face of the earth. And that is exactly this subconscious program. Restless Souls is about a person that can really be exemplary at what they do, but when they get into misalignment, they could fall into an unbearable depression where anything they set out to do doesn't work out. They feel so defeated. They feel like everything they try to do just fails and they can't seem to get out of it. They can't seem to get their confidence back. So if that hasn't manifested for Sydney Sweeney at this point, she is in for that. I don't feel like that's a pleasant program to have. I feel like it would be better to keep that one in alignment, but we will see if it's going to manifest for her in an aligned way. She also has the prison program. So for the prison program, sometimes that manifests as an actual prison sentence or an arrest, spending a night in jail. Other times it manifests as more of a mental thing, a mental prison where a person can't seem to feel like they're free, where they feel like they're stuck either in certain contracts or obligations and they can't seem to get out. So interesting how that is going to manifest for her. Overall, guys, I think we discovered why Sydney Sweeney is problematic. I think we found out. And it's all stemming from that past life karmic debt that already kind of set the tone for the rest of her soul contract. Let's move on to Jacob Elordi's. So Jacob Elordi was born June 26th, 1997. So for him, we have the 6 and the 8 as primary numbers. 6 is lover girl, in this case, lover boy energy. This is somebody that loves relationships, loves love, loves falling in love. It explains the parade of dates and girlfriends that he's had throughout the years since he's gotten on Euphoria. The 8 is more of an old soul vibe. The 8 is more of an old soul. This is somebody that is known for being super independent, having an extensive depth of aspirations and ambitions and things that they want to do. Let's take a look at his past life karmic debt. Okay. So I love this past life karmic debt for him because, like I said, it's very rare that there's malicious karmic debts. So the fact that that was manifesting in Sydney Sweeney's is really, really telling. For Jacob Elordi, we have the past life of karmic debt of limitation. So this means that in a past life, he was either imprisoned or he was somehow limited in movement. If not a prison, then like bedridden with sickness, wheelchair, things like that. How does this manifest in this incarnation? These kind of people manifest in two different extremes. Either they are super cautious with everything they do because they remember that, like, got hurt that one lifetime, and then I wasn't able to get out of bed. Like, I spent the rest of my life in bed. I want to make sure that I don't get hurt again. So they're super cautious, or they throw caution to the wind, like seek that adrenaline because they're like, I spent my entire life in a wheelchair or in prison last time. I want to use every single second of freedom that I can, every single second of movement that I can. So they're hyper ambitious. They keep trying to do as much as they possibly can because they feel like their luck is going to run out. Like they might go back into that situation where their freedom is limited or movement is limited. For his programs, he doesn't have a lot of them. He doesn't have a lot of them, and the ones that he does have aren't very insidious. They are not very malicious, unlike Sydney Sweeney's. So the first we have is collusion. This means that this person is an excellent talker, okay? This is a great public speaker. They're excellent at inspiring others and also gathering people, almost to the point of conspiring. In misalignment, that's what it could turn into, conspiring against a person, like getting a group of people together to specifically hate on one person or put them down. But in alignment, this is somebody that has a lot of influence over others. They're able to persuade them to either do the things they want them to do or believe what they want them to believe. This is a good program to have, especially if you're in the public eye, in alignment. In misalignment, not so much, but in alignment, this just means that you're very, very influential and people look to you. They care about what you think, they care about your opinions and what you believe. We also have the program of bragging, which in alignment is kind of similar to the last program because it means that you know how to talk. It means that you are really good at storytelling. In misalignment, this could be a person that tends to brag too much, over exaggerate, really try to make things out to seem that they're a certain way when the opposite is happening. Like, say, for example, they're bragging about how much money they have, how much success they have. They, in misalignment, could be absolutely lying out of their ass, and it could be like farthest from the truth, right? The last program in his soul contract is another one I want to mention because that stands out to me the most out of all of his programs. It's the Harmony subconscious program, and it essentially means that you are going to look a very specific way, like you were born to have either some kind of beauty mark that makes you stand out or a face that makes you stand out, an appearance that makes you stand out from the crowd, specifically for what it is that you set out to do. And I feel like that's very true of Jacob Elordi. He definitely has a certain appearance that's memorable. I feel like most people don't have the kind of face shape that he has. Let's move on to Alexa Demie, who, according to not Wiki, just the internet, says that her birthday was December 11th, 1990. Don't know how true it is. Let's take a look at her soul contract and see if we can find out if this rings true. So for Alexa Demie, she has the 11 and the 12. I love number 11s, guys. I'm biased because my husband is a number 11, but number 11s, I was just talking to my soul space girlies. That's my course for soul contracts. I was just talking to them about how I feel like the 11 is the most strong number when it comes to primary numbers and spiritual gifts and talents because of how much energy is behind that. And I showed them like the kind of names of celebrities that have this number is absolutely insane. It's like the who's who of Hollywood, Michael Jackson. It's an insanely powerful number. So for 11s manifest with a lot of strength, either physical strength or strength of character or strength of being able to convince others, like verbally, like strength of influence, strength of charisma. These people are the hardest of workers. They are going to push themselves past their breaking point in whatever it is that they do. I feel like this would be a method actor type of actor. So I wouldn't be surprised if Alexa Demie is a method actor. But to give you some context, like if you guys have a gym buddy that you go to the gym with and they're like, all right, like let's start. And then like 30 minutes into it, you're huffing and puffing. You're like, oh my goodness, that was a great workout. Let's go home. They're like, that was just the pre-workout. Like we just got started. This is the kind of vibe with 11s. They are relentless. They will also push you to go further than you think that you can, but that's because they do that to themselves so often. They'll play on broken bones. They'll perform with 104-degree fever. I believe Justin Bieber also has this number, and he has done that before. He's performed while being extremely sick. So that's what I have to say about 11s. I love 11s. We see that 12 energy again that we saw in Sydney Sweeney, and that's indicative of somebody that was made to be an artist. Like they were meant to perform and express themselves creatively, artistically in that way. So I love that she is doing that with her path. When we take a look at her previous life, her karmic debt, we have the karmic debt of unrequited love. We have the karmic debt of unrequited love, which is such perfect karmic debt for her to have based on just the way that Euphoria is set up. Guys, this is a topic she knows so well. She knows what it's like to love somebody without them loving you back, which is likely why she was chosen for the role, because she can play the crap out of it. I love that. Oh my God. I love that. So with this karmic debt, they really, really loved somebody and it was unrequited in a previous life. So they tried to go around that person's permission, either by like going to their dad and trying to arrange the marriage, or trying to like force them into marriage with them, or tried to use magic. And it ended up biting them in the butt. So in this incarnation, they come back to learn the importance of free will, the importance of respecting people's choices, respecting people's decisions, and not trying to force somebody to love you. What usually ends up happening is they keep manifesting relationships where they feel like they need to earn somebody's love. They need to do something to get somebody's love. And that manifests usually starting in childhood, where they feel like they need to perform for their parents or like be a certain way in order for their parents to give them attention. And that goes on later into adulthood until this lesson is learned, that it's important to love. Yeah, it's important to show people you love them, but you gotta wait for them to show you that they love you back. And if they don't, that's fine. Like, no big deal. Like, you go your separate ways. So I think that's very interesting. Now, when it comes to her subconscious programs, I would warn her if I could, that she has a danger in the road program. I have seen this program in celebrities that have gotten into accidents. So this just means that you got to be extra cautious, especially when you're driving vehicles or like traveling. If you feel like a bad feeling about it, you're like, I don't feel like I should get on this plane or this helicopter, there's likely a reason behind it, specifically for people with this subconscious program. So yeah, I'd advise her to be very careful driving, because she has this predisposition where she might be getting into a car accident or some kind of vehicular accident. I had to like really spell that out because that's a difficult word. Anyway, she also has the program of devaluation. So devaluation in alignment, this is somebody that can really smell the roses. I think I was just talking about this in the Pits episode. I feel like somebody from the Pit cast has this program. This is somebody that knows how to appreciate the little things in life. They know how to stop and smell the roses. Like, they know the value of every day that they get to wake up, and they don't take it lightly. In misalignment, the opposite ends up happening. You get really down on yourself and you start to feel like everything sucks. You don't appreciate what you do have, even if you have a lot, even if you have a successful career, you're set financially, you could get into a funk where you feel like everything's crap, everything is horrible. I don't have what I need. I don't have anything. So that's how that program manifests. She also has the academic knowledge program, which I believe Sydney Sweeney had as well. It just means that you have a brilliant mind. You think differently than other people. You're very, very intelligent. Alexa's soul contract has a lot more subconscious programs than the other three that we talked about, and that's not always a bad thing, specifically when it comes to the kind of programs that are manifesting, because the majority of the programs, when they're in alignment, they give you positive qualities, they give you one-ups and skills in order to succeed at what it is that you want to do in life. But when it's in misalignment, that's when things start to get difficult and conflicts and bad situations might start happening. The kind of programs Alexa has are very, like, almost heartbreaking, because it feels like this person has a lot of love to give, and she just wants to make sure that people are okay. It's the Responsible for Everyone program. She feels like she needs to kind of be the mom of her friends group, right? And overall, this kind of feels like a ride or die kind of friend. This feels like the type of soul that, like, once you're friends with her, she has your back to the end. She'll defend you, which is a very admirable trait. And the kind of lessons that are manifesting in Alexa's chart are like, don't live for other people, don't like sacrifice your life for others. Like, you still need to have your own life, live your own life, be the leading lady of your own life, which I have a feeling Alexa has learned. Other than that, in her talents and spiritual gifts, she has a couple of numbers that are interesting. She has that magic number, which is indicative of her practicing magic in a past life. She also has the love and relationships number 6. The number 6 is lover girl energy. Like, this is somebody that loves to love and be loved in return. So it's especially hurtful and painful when the person you love very deeply doesn't love you back, which explains her past life karmic debt. And she has that potential, the 11, in her talents and spiritual gifts, which is a very powerful number, and the number 10, which is a fortune, which means that she incarnated in this incarnation to experience financial success, financial abundance. But that is all I have for you guys, for Alexa, for Jacob, for Sydney, and for Zendaya. Let me know if you guys want me to look into the rest of the Euphoria stars. I can do a part 2 on Euphoria cast soul contracts. But that's what I got. You know, I don't know why, I expected Jacob's to be worse. I expected Jacob Elordi's to be worse. But it seems like it's flipped with Sydney Sweeney. I thought that I was going to go into Sydney Sweeney's chart and be like just find like one minor subconscious program where she has a hard time like with people, but it was like the entire thing. It was like the entire thing. And Jacob's looks like sweetheart energy. So love that for him. But that's all I have for you guys when it comes to the Euphoria cast. If you wanted to purchase your own soul contract, you are going to be able to use my soul contract calculator so soon. If you go to my website right now, thesoulecosystem.com, you can see in the soul contract calculator tab that you can input your date of birth and start looking at the numbers of your soul contract. But to buy the full analysis of what all of those numbers mean, that is a work in progress. I'm hoping to get it out to you guys by mid-June, June 15th, so that you guys can start taking a look at your soul contracts and not have to do the wait, because it takes a while for me to manually calculate soul contracts. So I'm like, you know what would be easier? I've been dying to put the formula down like into a system, into an application of some sort where you can automatically generate it. And thanks to Codex, I'm finally going to be able to do it. I'm going to be doing a discount for the first maybe week or month of its launch, so be on the lookout for that. I will share it on my podcast. Otherwise, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys next Friday.